Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Influencers Project. I'm your host, Craig Reynolds. Today, part 2 with Todd Hicks. Todd, at the end of our last talk, you talked about how many more people there were that you still wanted to thank and address and show gratitude towards, and so many different events and things that happened in your career that we didn't get a chance to talk about. One of those was Travis Pastrana jumping into the Bay. What happened there? I know this thing is legendary. It's a legendary story that not everyone knows about, but it was a pretty big deal when it happened. I mean, you're jumping a motorcycle into some water that probably don't want that to happen, but it happened. Travis is a wild dude.
Trust me.
I mean, yeah.
Trust me. It got ugly.
Yeah. So what? Let's go. What happened?
All right. So I'll preface the story by when Travis showed up that morning to the racetrack, we walked the track together, and he noticed that near the end of the run, there was a big berm, like a huge, 8-foot berm, and it faced directly into the San Francisco Bay. And he looked at me and he said, "Todd, you know what? I want to do a backflip into the bay." And I said, "Okay," because anything Travis wants to do, I know he's capable of doing or giving it a whirl, right? So, right. And he's a bad dude. So with that being said, I got on the phone, okay, and I called a real good friend of mine by the name of Eric Mashber. He owned a ski boat, okay? Now I'm talking a ski boat, not a wakeboard boat, not anything with anything else going on, a ski boat. Right? Real low profile. That day on the bay, on the San Francisco Bay, was sheet glass. It was mirror. So I called my buddy Eric and I said, "Hey, Travis has got an idea." And he's like, "What the heck are you talking about?" I'm like, "This is what he wants to do. He wants to launch and he wants to do a backflip, but he wants to land in the bay. But I need a boat to be able to pick him up. And I also need a life jacket. No matter what, I need a life jacket for the kid in case something goes bad wrong." But he was in the Oakland side, in the Oakland estuary. So he literally had to come all the way from the Oakland side to the San Francisco side in the ski boat. Luckily, again, that day it was sheet glass. So he motored over, got over in about an hour and a half.
So if it would have been choppy, it would have the boat because it was so low?
It wouldn't have gone down. It wouldn't have gone down. Okay. The safety part of it, as far as being able to pick him up, wouldn't have gone down because I didn't have any other type of boat to bring into play. I just had my buddy's ski boat, and he's a marine mechanic, so he had his boat in the water already, and he came over. Okay. The real thing was, "Hey, Travis, I need you to wear this life jacket." And if you notice, in his picture, he's got a chest protector on, but underneath his chest protector is a life jacket. Just all precautionary safety measures needed, right? So at that time, I ended up running into Pete Fox, and I told Pete, "This is what we're going to do." And then Pete kind of took over with the camera side of things. Video wasn't, this was way back when, so video was around, but it wasn't. I don't know why we didn't have a video camera, but we had a still photographer on site that was going to shoot it. So anyway, make a long story short, real quick, Travis goes ahead, does his run. His first run, he ends up scoring so high that there's not a person that can catch him in their first or second run. So on Travis's second run, that's when he takes off and goes for the backflip. And he gets about, I don't know what the degree would be, 90 degrees, like almost going backwards, but then he throws it away and lets it go. The bike lands in the bay. He lands. And then the picture, we have a couple pictures that you guys can see. We pick him up in the back of the boat. Me, Pete, John, Eric, and brother Richard. We all pick him up just to make sure we had safety in a full effect. Well, at this time, the cops had already come over running to the edge of the road because he literally had to hit a jump and then clear a 2-lane street paved road before he went into the bay, right? So it was already a big jump, but the cops were already there and they were already all over us. So the cool thing is we ended up, he didn't make it, but he was safe. The bike sunk to the bottom of the bay. Okay. It was very minimal fuel in it, and there was no oil in it. Okay.
Oh,
so
wow.
We already knew what we were up against. We already knew what we were up against with environmentalists, because in San Francisco, it's very, very, very big. So
is that bike still down there?
Nope.
Okay.
More to the story, boss.
Yeah,
okay.
Sorry.
So more to the story. So at the end of the day, we picked Travis up, and there's this big ladder that goes from the bottom of the bay up to the street level line. Travis gets up, walks out. I follow him up too. As soon as we get there, the ESPN #1 guy is standing at the top. There's 2 or 3 cops standing up there. They grab me, they grab Travis, and they take us separately. Okay. So Travis has got his group of people. I've got my group of people. We end up going back into the main ESPN offices that were on site. Right. And I got grilled. I don't know exactly what happened with Travis. I'm sure he got grilled too, but since I was under the Fox brand and the Fox label, and the boat had a banner on the front of it that was a fox head, right? Because it's a marketing thing for sure.
For sure. Why not?
But at the end of the day, they thought it was a full-blown ploy by us to make him do what he did. And I had to tell them the story that you don't even know who you're dealing with. This is Travis Pastrana. Like, he is amazing. Like, he's different than anybody you've ever met. And if he wants to do something, he's going to do it no matter what.
Modern day stuntman.
He's going for it. He launches himself. That's what he does. So I was literally detained by the San Francisco police and ESPN for about 2.5 hours, subject to questioning, marketing. You did this and that. And I'm like, never happened. Finally, at the end of the day, they said, well, what are we going to do about this motorcycle? How are we going to get this motorcycle out of the bay? Well, guess what? My buddy, who brought his boat over as a marine mechanic, Eric, had a buddy that's a diver, right? Okay. Well, now we're going to go get the diver, and we're going to bring the diver over, and we're going to go down, and guess what? We're going to get this bike out of the bay, because you all think it's toxic, right? And of course, there was some fuel in it, there's no doubt. But at the end of the day, we did
probably no more fuel that drops out of any boat or any jet ski or anything.
I would imagine same, right?
Yeah.
So, half an hour goes by. Finally, he locates the boat. We end up pulling it out of the bay, right? So we got the bike back up out of the bay. And at that time, ESPN said, you won, Travis, but we'll give you the medal, but we're not going to give you the money.
Oh,
money was 10 G's. Yeah, money was 10 G's for the win. So with that being said, stuff got a little bit more gnarly, got a little bit more heavy, but we told Travis, don't worry about it. We'll take care of that. Fox will take care of your 10 grand prize money, whatever you want to do. Okay. So at the end of the day, we got the bike out of the bay. Travis tried a backflip. I was detained for 2.5 hours. The bike lives still at the company down in Southern California. It's still there. It is rusted shut because it's salt water, right? Wheels don't spin. Kickstarter doesn't kick. Like, totally salted up. And he ended up getting fined $10,000, and we paid him $10,000 and kind of walked away from it all. And he donated the $10,000 to the environmentalist group.
Right.
So that's the story. That's how it goes down. That's point A to point B. Right.
What they don't realize is how, if it's the extreme games, which is what it used to be called, right? And now it's just the X Games. That's pretty extreme. This is what you're going to get. This is what you're playing with. And you know what? You're welcome for doing what we just did, because we just helped you guys out a little bit more.
But at the end of the day, they didn't use the footage because of the environmentalists.
Yeah, but sometimes the backstory is better. Like,
that's where I'm at with it. That's where I'm at.
Right? See, I think understand the legend of it pulls more weight than actually seeing it. Because, like, did you hear about this? This is what happened. And I'm sure there's 70 different stories about what happened, but this is the real one, which I think is fantastic.
Exactly what happened, point A to point B. And the diver was cool. He pulled it out. We got it out. And like I said, all the money was out of control and all taken care of, but still it's one of those stories that nobody knows about other than through photos and through word of mouth, right? So it's one of those things where it's kind of cool to actually know what goes on. That's like one of my favorite stories to be able to tell, a group of people or, what was going on.
I'm sure you've got a ton of stories like that.
Not a ton, but some I can share, some I can't.
That's what I mean.
Exactly. Some I can't.
So last time, this thing is all about gratitude, right? This is all about, giving love to the people that helped us get to where we are today. Because we can't do it alone. Like I've said it every single time, every season I've done this at least once, that it takes a village, period. Not just to raise a kid, but just to live.
Boy. You count on that. Yes, sir.
You've 100%. Touched a lot of people. A lot of people have helped you along the way. You said there's still some people that you wanted to go back and give a little love to as well.
Well, the first person I'm going to give love to is my family, my mom and dad. My dad's an amazing guy, and he always gave me all the tools I needed in order to do whatever I wanted to do. And obviously, we are all prodigies of our parents and products of our parents. So I owe him probably the most out of anything. Then I got to go to my right-hand woman that used to help me. And that was a 65-year-old woman by the name of Betty Sipes.
And, I've heard the name Betty before.
Okay. And she was Greg's assistant, Greg Fox's assistant. But I kind of adopted her because I'd leave town so much that the phone would ring and nobody would be able to get in touch with somebody. So I always gave the riders Betty's number to get in touch with so that we can all at least have communication, right?
Sure. Yep.
So Miss Betty, unfortunately, she passed away a few years ago, but Betty Sipes was probably one of the most monumental people I could have in my corner. She made the world go round even as a acting mom for me, because my mom passed away in 96. So she took over and took the role. And another woman by the name of Mary O'Hagan, she also took the role and held my hand and went through the world. The people that worked with me and worked for me were probably, like I said before, they were all my friends. We were all friends. We all lived in the same house. We all did everything together pretty much. From Jason Mitchell to Dwayne Taylor to Andy Boyer to Jason Balkin. I mean, the list goes on. The most important one out of all these people is a gentleman by the name of Aaron West. Aaron West and I worked together for close to 19 years.
Whoa.
Together as a team, like dynamic duo. And we ran the programs together. We did it together. He was the grunt work, baddest dude I've ever met in my life, happiest dude, nicest dude, go lucky, happy all the time, always nice. And of course, we all have moments of greatness, but still, at the end of the day, if I didn't have Aaron West, I would never be the person that I am today. Bottom line. And there is no doubt. There is no doubt to that.
What was it about his influence on you that was so strong?
He was always motivated. He was always willing to listen. My big thing is Aaron came, how I found Aaron was in the warehouse. I went to my warehouse manager and I said, I want your best guy. Who is your best guy? I want to know if he wants to come work for me and work with these teams and help me build product and get involved. And his name was the first on the list. And so I kind of stole him from the warehouse and brought him with me. And one of the very first things, within going down a year or two down the road was he always sat with me. He always sat right next to me because we always were in tight communication. Hey, Craig needs, a helmet, or Craig needs elbow pads, or Ricky needs a chest pro, or somebody needs gloves. Like, we need to get this stuff out the door. So Aaron was always my right hand to be able to run those orders, get them out the door, ship them, and make it happen. So I always wanted Aaron to evolve throughout his career because he was that good of a person. At the end of the day, I told Aaron to have Dumbo ears. Okay. When I'm on the phone and I'm talking to people, like, take your ears and do this. Okay. Listen to what I'm saying. You may not be able to hear what's on the other end, but you can hear what I'm saying. This will give you guidance. This will give you knowledge. It'll give you education for later down the road. And sure enough, he did that. So within time, I ended up promoting him to become the amateur team motocross manager. And I kind of oversaw him. And it was one of those things where, I still work with the gentleman today. We do this together still.
Very cool. Is he the guy that I saw at Anaheim when I saw you guys a couple of years ago at Anaheim? Yes, I knew it. Awesome.
Yeah.
Right on.
So yeah, we still hang out. We still talk once a week, twice a week, or every other week. And we always have something going on creatively. And that's probably one of the coolest things.
That's awesome.
Another gentleman that I need to give huge thanks to is a gentleman by the name of Eric Pernard. Eric Pernard is a worldwide renowned. We call him I call him the Pope of motocross. All right. He's a gentleman that puts on events overseas. He's been involved with Fox as an associate for many, many years. He's been there. He was there a couple years before I was even. So he's probably 33, 34, 35 years into it. Wonderful gentleman that is just an outstanding individual. Me and him work together to put on events, to put on special things for the youth riders. There was a race that we did in Oklahoma for a couple of years called the Junior Motocross is what it was called. And at the end of the day, me and him work. He's a promoter as well as a influencer and all around, like I said, the Pope of motocross. He's an awesome dude. Right on. So me and him did a bunch of work together, and that was pretty amazing as well. The hands-on cool things that were done within that company were just outstanding as far as events. So besides being a team manager, you have events too that you sponsor, that your company gets involved with, and you have to be creative to kind of create the scene, create the stage, what's happening around that event. And I had a group of people that around me that were amazing. A woman by the name of Amy Kappa, just a wonderful soul. She's from Vermont, snowboarder, super cool, very, very diligent with her work and how she conducts her business, very smart, very calculated. Then we have the bus drivers. Okay, now understand, when we were back in the day, we used to go on tour from location to location to location to location to location, whether it was BMX, mountain bike, wakeboarding, surf, whatever it was. Well, Tommy Settle was our original driver back in the day, and gentleman is just outrageous and awesome and works for Red Bull still today, or still drives a little bit for Red Bull, I believe, and also does a bunch of work for GoPro, and wonderful dude. Cody Stewart, the gentleman that took after him, outstanding gentleman, mountain boarder, Grand National world champion, great dude, always in the game. And then there's one family that I can't thank enough, and that's the Carmichaels and the Stewarts. Both those people, those families, they're so awesome and so unique. But during my time at the business, you had James and you had Ricky, and they were going together, and they were doing this, and they were getting busy, and they were getting jiggy. And, I have to say that I have so much respect for both of those families and all the parents and all, obviously James and Ricky, but at the same time, they always treated me with respect, even though they had, a race going on. And there's a lot of money going on during those times too. There's a lot of money. When a guy wins and a guy loses, Craig, you know what happens, there's emotions, let alone the cash. You can throw that away, but just the fact of who is a winner and who is the best. So those guys obviously went toe to toe for many, many years together.
That was fun to watch. I loved being a part of that. That was amazing.
I mean, to be involved with Ricky's, undefeated season and James's undefeated season, those times are just, they're monumental. You can't put a amount on that at all, no. Let alone a timeline. It's just amazing that I was able to be involved with such a great group of dudes and historical people.
Right. Yeah.
Honestly, there's been a lot of people that have been in the ring and that have been involved with what I've done. And, of course, I got to thank the Fox family foremost. Besides my mom and dad, the Fox family always treated me like the fifth kid. They have 3 brothers, 1 sister, and I kind of always was treated with that kind of respect amongst the family. And I always treated the company like it was a family company and it was part of mine as well. Right. So those people deserve many, many thanks and many mahalos for sure. Other than that, honestly, I just hope that, everybody in this world can carry on and take the next stages of life and make them count. I'm kind of in the in-between time right now, but I'm cool with it. I'm coasting. But foremost, there's a lot of athletes out there and a lot of people that don't know what they're going to do next. And I think you had a question about that earlier, right?
Yeah, we've got a few minutes left. And you'd mentioned last time that a lot of athletes go through their career, but don't think about what's going to happen afterwards. And that was something that you still wanted to be able to help people navigate. And I was like, that's amazing. Cause you're not just a team manager. You're actually your friends, your family. Like I consider you just such a tremendous part of my life that I don't remember a time without you. Like I wouldn't have been the pro that I was without your assistance. Well, and I know a lot of people feel that way. But how do you go? What do you do next?
No.
How do you get people, right?
For me, I always took every relationship I had as a friend and personal. Of course, I got business going on. I got money going on. Of course. But that's not really my play. Okay. Mm-hmm. That was always taken care of by the family and by the brothers. I was more of the relationship side based of the person. Mm-hmm. The most important thing about this is that you have a solid foundation within your relationship with these people. And for me, it always came natural because they gave me like I gave to them. And it was more of a mutual friendship, but always for me, it was more of being a life coach, right? Because I was always a little bit older, if not a lot older than all these other people that I was dealing with. So it was, like I said before in the other interview, it's like one of those things. I was a racer. So I knew what I had to do as a racer. And I also knew what I had to take care of as far as being a racer for these teams as a ambassador, right? So in return, translation between me to them on how they should take care of business was more of a life coach situation for me. And I enjoyed it. It's something that I really got a kick out of. And, I continue to this day to, play roles within people's, decision-making, right?
Sometimes, and what would you say to some of the kids now that are still racing that, hey man, you got to start to think about what you're going to do after this because it won't last forever as much as we want it to. It's what's that bit of advice that you can give someone in a
What do you like the most? Are you interested in being involved with the sport afterwards, or what is your other interest? Those are the two main questions. Do you want to stay involved because you've set your stage and you've been here for a while and people know who you are within the industry? Or do you want to do something completely different? Become a dentist, become a doctor, x-ray tech. You know what I mean? I've got millions of people that have gone on and, created their own brands or done other things in life that, that are completely different than motorcycle racing or dirt bikes or surfing or wakeboarding or all those things. But I would say majority of the people are really I think they're kind of like me, where they like to be able to travel on that career path, even though they're not racing anymore.
Right.
But they can kind of shed, some guidance, kind of like what I've been doing. And I hope that it's rubbed off positively to all the folks that I've touched within this world, which are many. So it's fun. I enjoy it. The journey has been incredible, and I wouldn't change it for anything, sir. Not a second.
I don't think your journey is anywhere close to being over as it is. I mean, you're far too talented, and you've got too much experience in your pocket to not continue on. Like I'm excited to see what's next. I see, you get the Moto Joe coffee coming up, and I know you've got other things in the works, because I don't know what those are, but I know you well enough to know that you're not just going to sit still and rest.
Yeah, no, I'm more into, I've been talking lately about obviously doing things for myself and doing something for myself and creating something for myself. And a lot of it, I mean, the other day I was watching the Special Olympics. They were on TV the other day, and I was like, man, how cool it would be to be involved with those kids. When I was a youth, way back in junior high, I was involved with a crew that worked with a bunch of handicapped kids, and I really, really, really enjoyed that experience with those people. Yeah. And also with maybe somebody like Make-A-Wish, something that gives back to the kids, something that I'm capable of doing, that I know is right and I know is positive for the kids of the world that are coming. This world right now is challenging enough, to say the freaking least. So anything we can do for the kids that are coming. Trick loves the kids. So
well, that's what you've been doing your whole career, man. And on behalf of everyone else, thank you, because what you have done is amazing. And I can't wait to continue.
I'm just Todd, a regular, normal everyday dude, just like you. I put my pants on the same way. All right.
Keep saying that.
And I say that all the time. And people that know me. Hey, that's just Todd. So
right. Well, it's much appreciated. So that being said, dude, I appreciate this again. We can do a part 3, part 5, because you're gonna keep going on. So we'll just keep it rolling.
All right.
Excellent. Well, if you guys like what you're seeing here, please make sure you subscribe here on YouTube. And if you like it on Apple Podcasts, subscribe there as well. Todd, again, thank you, brother. I appreciate your time again, man. This has been fantastic.
Spread the aloha spirit, sir. That's most important.
You got it, brother. You got it, man. Have a good one, and I will talk with you soon.
Wonderful. Thank you.